apartment building, though I'm not sure that's the kind of excitement the church was trying to promote. During that 4 weeks, her bedroom became Santa's workshop. She would be at the sewing machine for hours each day, and by bedtime the marriage bed was piled 2 feet high with unsorted, unfolded laundry, stacks of fabric, scraps from whatever item she was making. Watch out for pins when you finally pull the covers up to your nose. Eileen had so many children she usually didn't know what to do, but she did try to make us all ecstatic at Christmas. And not just us. When Jerry was 1 year old, Eileen got it into her head that their Christmas card that year, 1942, would be a picture of their 5, at that time, children. This was long before it was common to send a family photo as a Christmas card. In fact, if Daddy hadn't been a printer, they probably wouldn't have been able to do it, since there were no local photo shops that created cards at the drop of a hat. Daddy and Eileen had the advantage of being able to create and print the cards themselves. They even had the card stock at hand, so Eileen proceeded. That first photo shows us all seated on a bench, astride it, in order of age, spooned together to fit the camera's frame. The boys, even baby Jerry, wore formal shirts with those funny collars that they put on little boys in the 30s and early 40s. Sari and I were dressed alike, with bows in our hair. And we all look a bit dazed, as we must have been. Being photographed was unusual, especially in a formal setting, and Eileen must have been tearing her hair at the complexity of getting all 5 of us to look presentable at the same time, and keeping us that way long enough to get to the photographers. But the card was so well received by all their friends and relations that they decided to make it a tradition. So through the years we have a record of us, all those awkward ages and bad hair years. Mary joined us in 1950 as a beautiful 9-month-old for the picture in November, with her deep blue eyes and curly and abundant dark hair. Eileen even managed to keep the tradition alive after a number of us had left home, insisting that each of us send our own family photo to be included in the, by now giant-sized, Johnson Christmas card. Daily life was always so complicated that it was hard for Eileen to arrange for a sitting at the photographer's, Rodkey's or Herb Smith's, in time to get the cards printed and the envelopes addressed, and there were hundreds of cards sent each year, and the whole shebang into the mail by mid-December. Many years the Johnson card was late. Some years it was very, very late, such as the year it became an Easter card. But that was just once. Most years Eileen managed to get the cards in the mail by mid-January. Not bad, all things considered. Left to her own devices, without Daddy's interference, I think Eileen would have extended her generous heart to include the whole town. She would have bought or made and wrapped gifts for every family, every child she knew. She lost all sense of proportion at Christmas. That's exactly what it was. All sense of proportion flew away on the winter wind. 1 year she got our tree from her friend Marjorie Bowles, an English teacher at the high school, which was across the street from our house. As soon as school ended for the holiday, a couple of husky English students delivered their class tree to our house. The tree was easily 10 feet in diameter and correspondingly high. They managed to cut off part of the bottom so that the tree just brushed the ceiling, but its girth dwarfed our living room. There was no place for the family to be. The tree took up so much space. Every year, Eileen bought and bought for us, and she tucked it all away. And then, as Christmas drew near, she'd add up the amount spent on each child, always excluding me, of course, because I was the Christmas baby and thus got twice as many presents as the others. But she'd add it up and then say, "I just have to get a little something for so-and-so." Though it seems to me that it was usually Mike who was initially short-changed, so she'd always be hunting for that one last little something for Mike. Christmas then was nothing like the commercial extravaganza it is now, with stores touting their holiday wares right after, or even before, Halloween, and television pushing its plastic at the little ones who can't even say the word Christmas yet. Nevertheless, even back in those olden days, some people did put up their decorations and their trees in early December. To Eileen this was sacrilege. If she'd had her druthers, the tree would have gone up on December the 24th and not a day before. But even she was practical enough to know that there was no way